So the Carolina Panthers seem to be pretty sure they're going to be making a move to acquire some kind of quarterback this offseason, whether it's trading for Deshaun Watson or maybe drafting a guy. Now, if we want to draft somebody, what do the Panthers do? Do they stay at number 8 or do they trade up and try to find a team to move up to get one of the top quarterbacks in this draft? I'm not sure. And being a Panthers fan, I'm used to some disappointment during the offseason, whether it's getting rid of some of our favorite players, letting players walk that we probably should have re-signed and ended up playing good for their new team, or anything else that's happened in these past 26 years as a Panthers fan. So in this video, I want to look at some of the worst case scenarios when it comes to the draft and look at some of the non-quarterback options that we, the Panthers, may have at number 8 when it comes to the draft in April. But before we get into that, let me introduce myself. My name is Aaron Duncan here with the Necessary Bluntness Sports Talk. On this channel, I start off every video by saying, "What up, dude?" Because here I talk about the NFL and the Carolina Panthers in particular. So if you're a Panthers fan or you want to stay up to date on the NFL and the Panthers and what's going on this offseason, you got to make sure you hit the subscribe button below and the bell icon, because a lot of stuff going on for this Panthers team this offseason. We're in and out of the news every day, it seems like. So you want to stay up to date on what's happening, you got to make sure you subscribe. And please give this video a thumbs up, because it doesn't cost anything and it really helps my video out my channel out as it grows, and it helps really trigger the algorithm to get the word out. So make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up too. I really appreciate that. You guys let me know down below in the comments, if the Panthers stay at number 8 in the draft, what is your favorite non-quarterback choice to make in this draft? You know, I got 5 guys that I want to talk about, but I want you guys to give me yours. And make sure you watch all 5 and let me know what you think about mine also. So these guys are in no particular order, of course. I'm just going down the list based off the Carolina Panthers' needs. So the first guy on my list is Patrick Surtain II. I don't know why they don't call him Junior. Nevertheless, Patrick Surtain II. Now, Patrick Surtain II is a 6'1", 202-pound cornerback from the University of Alabama who is a junior coming out. He was born in the year 2000, so this guy's only 20 years old, and he's the son of a former NFL All-Pro corner, Patrick Surtain, who's played some time with the Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs. He's an Alabama product, like I said, and he's got a championship under his belt and played for the great Nick Saban. He played all 3 years in his career because he's just that good. He's a good technician. He has great size. He's great in man coverage, great in press man coverage. He's very disciplined, obviously. He's a willing tackler. These are all traits that you need to be able to play for Nick Saban. So you know he's going to be polished, especially the fact that he came from Nick Saban and that his dad was a coach and a former NFL player. Short in COVID season, he was a first-team All-American pick and also the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. So the accolades are there that follows him. But as I previously stated, this guy is great in man-to-man coverage, particularly in press, playing over 600 snaps in press coverage at the University of Alabama, which translates well over the type of technique that NFL teams like to run. Being that this guy has a pretty large frame from a cornerback at 6'1" and 6'2", he translates very well to the type of receivers that are in the NFL, and especially the type of guys that Scott Fitterer likes. We know Scott Fitterer has come from the Seattle Seahawks, so they like those long, lengthy corners when it comes to a guy like Richard Sherman that he previously had, who was a guy like that. So this guy fits the mold of what we possibly could use on this team. The Panthers have a clear need at corner, as they need somebody to complement Dante Jackson, who's more of a smaller, slight frame guy who focuses more on speed and making plays on the ball. Patrick Surtain would be a good complement because he has size. He's more physical than Deshaun Jackson, and he's not a very great guy when it comes to making plays on the ball, but he does his job. He's always in pretty good position, and he plays the pass pretty well. He may not be the most flashy guy when it comes to running the 40, the vert, or any kind of bench press or testing reps. However, on film, this guy is a clean-cut pro. He's a great technician, has good discipline, and his floor is very high. So worst case scenario, you get a solid starter for years to come. The second potential non-quarterback pick the Panthers could chase is Caleb Farley, cornerback out of the University of Virginia Tech. Now, Caleb Farley is one of those players that opted out of this season because of the COVID pandemic. However, his 2019 season was awesome. This guy is 6'2", 197 pounds, as a former high school quarterback, and he came at the University of Virginia Tech playing wide receiver. So he definitely has the hands and ball skills. He also has great size and athleticism, but to pair it up with that, to put the icing on the cake, being that he has former experience playing on the opposite side of the football, he has great instincts when it comes to route recognition, being able to turn and run, being able to time up certain techniques, and being able to read the quarterback and read wide receivers. And the fact that he doesn't have a ton of experience at corner just shows that he has a lot more upside and a lot more room to improve. I think the biggest difference between Fairley and Surtain is a more willing tackler. He's a lot more physical when it comes to playing the football and the run. And that's big when you have big wide receivers in this division that you need to be able to tackle and limit yards after catch. Fairley has great hands. Like I said, he's more of a playmaker when it comes to making a play on the ball because of his former offensive background. But it's almost more so a pick your poison because both of these guys have great size that fits into what we need, and they can complement Dante Jackson very well at the other cornerback position. The third non-quarterback player that the Panthers should consider is Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle from the University of Northwestern. Now, this guy is a 6'4", 315-pound offensive lineman, and he's slated at a tackle right now. However, many people see that he could possibly have the versatility to move up and down the line of scrimmage and play almost any position. Now, this is a great trait to have, especially in the NFL where offensive line continuity is great because a lot of these guys, a lot of teams don't have depth. A lot of these players aren't developed coming out of college because they're so used to running spread offenses, option offenses, different kind of zone techniques, and they don't huddle. So they have to be groomed. So being able to have a guy that can fit into any position, and you may want him to play tackle, but worst case scenario, he could play any other position on the line of scrimmage, is a great piece to have because injuries happen and you can plug and play this guy pretty much anywhere. He's a very athletic guy, so he can fit well into any zone running blocking scheme, which is what the Panthers like to run a lot with Christian McCaffrey. He really made his name for himself a couple years ago when he pretty much locked down Chase Young in some of those Ohio State matchups. And Chase Young obviously was a defensive rookie of the year this past season. Now, some people like to make the argument, but in my opinion, he's not Penei Sewell. Penei Sewell is a day one starter. You could put him at left tackle and leave him there for the rest of his career. Slater, on the other hand, may not be the dominant left tackle that Sewell is, but he will be a day one starter, and you could pretty much put him anywhere and start him from there and let him go on. And with the Panthers losing so many offensive linemen to injuries this year and the free agency this offseason, a guy like Slater could be great to have just to maybe put a stopgap for any other position that you may need to address. The fourth non-quarterback player that the Panthers should consider drafting at number 8 is Kyle Pitts, tight end from the University of Florida. At 6'5", 239, this guy is the ultimate mismatch. If you look at his measurables on paper, he's basically a Kelvin Benjamin that's in shape with better athleticism. And the reason why he's such a mismatch is he's too big for defensive backs, but also too athletic and smooth for linebackers to stay with him. So that makes a problem. The Panthers need help at the tight end position in the worst way, with having some of the worst production from that position in the NFL this past season. Many people say offensive coordinator Joe Brady just doesn't simply use a tight end in his system. That's why there was no production from there. I happen to disagree because we had a ton of weapons when it comes to Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, Robbie, Mike Davis, and Christian McCaffrey in the few games that he played. And there's only one football. So unless you're a dynamic playmaker like that, you're not going to command that many targets. A guy like Kyle Pitts is such a mismatch problem. He definitely will command that and give the Panthers a great presence down the middle of the field. And he's a large target. And if people want to liken Joe Brady to Sean Payton, being that he came from the New Orleans Saints system, Sean Payton is known for using a tight end. You know, he had Jimmy Graham, guys like Ben Watson. He's had guys like Jared Cook this past year. They definitely have room for tight ends in this system. You just have to be good enough to get those targets. And the big picture for me, it's not that Kyle Pitts isn't worthy of it as a talent. It's just I don't think you need to pick a tight end this high in the draft to be able to get good production. We see some of the top guys like Kelsey and Kittle and Gronk not being high draft picks. These guys weren't first round draft picks. These guys were diamonds in the rough that had the tools that just need to be put with proper coaching and in the proper system to excel. And you see what happened from these guys. The fifth non-quarterback option that the Panthers could draft at number 8 is Micah Parsons, linebacker from the University of Penn State. Now this guy is a beast, man. He's 6'3", 245 pounds. And rumor has it that he clocked in at a 4.43 40-yard dash. And that is flying. But he shows that on the field because he gets to the ball carrier in a hurry, i.e. Luke Kuechly. Now, I'm not calling him Luke Kuechly because the knock on Parsons is he may not be as great in coverage, but he makes up for that with his ability to blitz. Because that ability to get after the quarterback comes from him being a former defensive end that got converted to a linebacker. With only 2 years playing at linebacker, the upside for him to be able to grow and be able to learn how to play the pass is there, but it's going to take some development. He's going to have to be in the right system. Nevertheless, when it comes to the run plays, this guy knows how to get after it from sideline to sideline and get there in a hurry. Now, the Panthers do love the guys that are versatile, with a guy like Jeremy Chin being drafted last year. Phil Snow wants to be able to move guys around in his defense and to be able to have a positionless defense. Being that Parsons also offers the ability to get after the quarterback on third down only helps his case because being able to plug and play anywhere and being able to help get more pressure on the quarterback outside of Brian Burns is a big goal that the Carolina Panthers will need to be able to accomplish this offseason. Being that he has those limitations in coverage, a lot of people think that making him a top 10 pick could be a mistake, but there's no denying that this guy is one of the top, if not the top defensive player in this draft. So being able to get a difference maker back on the inside for the Panthers to replace longtime great Luke Kuechly sounds like music to my ears. So we'll see how things work out. Like I said, you guys let me know down below in the comments how you feel about these picks and who do you think could be a non-quarterback choice that we make if we stay at number 8, because like I said, as Panthers fans, we got to think of worst case scenario. So let's prepare for the worst and hope for the best. But without further ado, I'm Aaron Duckett signing off with the Necessary Bluntness Sports Talk. I'll see you next time. Peace.